Good evening, everyone. Hello. It's good to see you. I'm so happy that we are here. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done our stream. Both Ari and I have had a lot of stuff going on, so we've been navigating that and then, making plans to resume again. So we're really happy to be back. Ari, how are you doing? What have you been up to?
Good. I've been out camping and navigating the personal conflicts of my life and doing my daily divination channel on YouTube.
Oh my goodness. Do you want to talk a little bit about that channel? What is the channel called?
It's Tarot Time with Ari. You can just look
Ooh.
at me up. I do card pulls every day, and I do weekly videos where I do in-depth cards, where I do piles and I do draws. I just did one with my Ally curated deck, it's this big thick deck. It was great.
hmm I am subscribed to that channel and I've been seeing some of the videos and I've been really enjoying them. They've been pretty insightful. So if all of you are interested in divination and supporting Ari's second channel, I would strongly recommend going and subscribing to it. So, oh, thank you, RP. I appreciate that. My hair is bothering me tonight, so I'm probably going to be fiddling with it. So just bear with me. I don't feel like I look awesome tonight. Um, but yeah, go check that out. Ari and I are planning on we're gonna be planning on doing some collaborations in the future, probably on that channel too. So that's gonna be fun because both Ari and I do readings and stuff. Although I am way more rusty than you are.
Oh, whatever.
Like when I was in college, I mean, you remember, we went to college together. I would do readings. We both would do readings pretty often, and since then I might do maybe 3 readings a year if I'm lucky. So, but yeah. So any in the creative world, Ari, us outside of YouTube, have you been working on anything?
I've been writing poetry. So I've been doing my poetry group meetup. So I've been doing write-ins where I write poetry. And then I've been doing meetups where I meet with people and I share my poetry.
That's so cool, like a little community thing.
Yeah, we have about 15 people in our group now, but only about 3 or 4 people are showing up to the actual meetings. So we're a small group still, but we're growing.
Hey, I mean, how many meetings have there been? Like 1 or 2 now?
Yeah, one of each. One write-in, one meetup.
Well, maybe with word of mouth circulating, more people will be attracted to it. Because I know, for in smaller communities, especially those smaller events, word of mouth really carries.
Hmm.
So that's really awesome, though. I'm super excited about that. For me, I mean, you guys saw my video yesterday. I've been doing pretty well. I've been having some mental health moments, but they've not been horrible. Um, Today my partner had oral surgery, so I've mostly been spending the day making really soft foods. He's doing a lot better now though. So, he's off playing Pokemon right now. So, but
Nice.
yeah, that went well. I've been kind of working on some writing of my own. I'm working on my upcoming book, of course. It's been a very slow roll, but I am getting there. And I'm hoping to connect with my friend who's doing the art for the book soon because we need to get going on that. But so far, it seems like everything's progressing in a timely fashion. So that's always reassuring because I always have this. And I don't know, I'm always super anxious about oh my gosh, is this the time to do this? Should I be doing this at this point? So on and so forth. But I've honestly just kind of pulled away from doing that and being like, okay, it'll happen when it happens. Just calm down, Donny. Calm your titties, Donny.
Right?
Which is something I rarely do. Okay, so before we get on to talking about tonight's topic, I'm just wanting to look at the comments to see who's tuned in so far. We have Arby here, Leo's here, Rogue Agent Killer Rodan is here. It's good to see all three of you. Hopefully, we have some more people tune in for tonight. It's possible we may not, though, because of course we had a brief break for a couple of weeks, so people tend to trickle in like once we do them regularly again. So,
Mhm.
but to get things started off, I'm going to, of course, go over our show's mission statement. So, many witness different atrocities, large or small, that fray the social fabric around us, and much of the time, many may feel powerless and know not how to address such things. This fray has gotten worse with the rise of social media, being that we are all able to share in trauma collectively as it goes viral in real time. So many of these communities, like marginalized communities especially, are often the recipients of these tragic events. And our goal with this show is to kind of think about what we can do in our privileged capacity to, you know, make things better in some way, or to at least educate ourselves and perpetuate what we learn through our conversations. So our goal is to restitch that tapestry, that social tapestry of sorts, through conversation, creativity, and action. So anyway, speaking of social influence, we're going to be talking about a specific social media platform tonight. It's TikTok. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it or have heard of it. Some of you might use it. I know both of us definitely use it. Both Ari and I use it. But it's obviously, over the past couple of years, especially, it's kind of like boomed in popularity. It's really attracted like a lot of attention. In fact, it's considered now to be like one of the most active social media sites out there with the most users, which I thought was super interesting to note.
Mhm.
So, Ari, as a preliminary question leading into um, our impressions of different aspects of TikTok, how were you introduced to TikTok? And what were your first impressions of it?
So I signed up a little bit earlier than most of the people in my friend group. I signed up just after it was Musically and it just had become TikTok. So just as the ads were coming out for it. So I was seeing it in like the movie theater and stuff, and I was like just before the ads were coming out in the movie theater, I had downloaded it and I was like playing on it, and I was like, I had started out doing nature videos on TikTok, and then I like deleted the app and then I re-downloaded it and I started doing like personal videos. But when I was doing those nature videos, I had so much fun, but I never got any views. Uh, but it was great. I love the aesthetics of TikTok. I love how the young generation is on TikTok. I feel old on TikTok, but then there was a boom of people that were in their 30s and 40s that moved to TikTok and they kind of carved out their own community. So then I didn't feel so alone. So, and it kind of felt like the old days of YouTube where it was like we stitched and we commented on each other's videos. So
Oh, yes.
it kind of does have that feeling where like we're a little bit like a tight knit group again, and like you can see each other and like you have this like community type feel where like you can duet each other and like you can, but it's shorter videos, like you can only do up to 3 minutes.
Yeah, like I really like that you mentioned that TikTok reminded you, well, reminds you of old YouTube. I remember because you were the one who first got me into doing YouTube, and this was like what, 10, 15 years ago or so. And one thing that I really miss on YouTube was the popularity surrounding video responses. Like you could do
Mhm.
a video response to people, and there was like a thing you could click on where the video responses would show up underneath that person's video. So like the viewers of that video could see how people are verbally responding to that person. And I'm still angry that YouTube got rid of that feature because I really felt like that personalized so much. And I think that's why, like you were mentioning, like TikTok is flourishing so well, is because I think there is a greater sense of connection to people. It's a lot easier to interact through video using TikTok, through stitching, through duetting, so on and so forth. And and I've noticed that there's like a lot of less like gatekeeping surrounding like copyright, so on and so forth on TikTok because it was intended to be a sort of musical platform, right? So like musicians like have their work like sampled in TikTok. Um, and if their work gets on some sort of viral TikTok, that benefits them, you know? So it's like this kind of give and take. But um, for me to answer that question, I really wasn't into TikTok. I aside from like Facebook, MySpace, that really dates me. Um, and Twitter, like I've been really slow to get on like newer popular social media sites. Like I was slow to get on Instagram, I was slow to get on Tumblr, I was slow to get on TikTok and Snapchat, so on and so forth. But eventually, like my partner, because he was a huge fan of Vine. Do you remember Vine?
Yeah.
And like so like Vine went away, and that was a site or a platform that also kind of capitalized on video reels and small video segments, so on and so forth. And TikTok kind of like filled that void where Vine had left. And I
Hmm.
think that's why it's gained such popularity. So I noticed like my partner was always showing me like funny videos and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start watching TikToks. So uh, I kind of went down a worm. Like at first, I was kind of like, oh, here's some nature videos that I'm watching. I didn't start becoming a content creator there. I was just a viewer. Eventually, I would like get into like nature TikTok, like I mentioned, uh, Marvel TikTok, like a lot of like Marvel stuff was coming out, and
Hmm.
um, let me see, gay TikTok, which I'm going to be talking about. Like TikTok has a ridiculously huge LGBTQ plus presence, which is awesome. So like there's like I think for our communities specifically, like I think there's a lot of interconnectedness that we have not had on other social media sites, aside from like maybe Twitter, maybe Twitter, but yeah, like my first impressions of TikTok, I was like a little off put by like the format of all of it, but once I got used to it, like I started really obsessing. I would be on TikTok for hours. It got to a point where I had to like limit myself.
Yeah, it's really addicting. I think that like I because it's that doom scrolling where you just like scroll, 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 and then eventually they had to install that channel that's like, hey, wait a minute, you have to like eat and go outside and like do stuff, and like that's when I know to close the app is when that pops up is like so it'll pop up sometimes really quickly, but sometimes it won't pop up for a long time. And like I have to like limit myself. So I don't go on it as much as I used to. But I used to go on it for hours and hours and hours, and I used to be like really addicted to my phone, and like I have a problem. My sister has a problem with TikTok. She is addicted to her phone. And she's like, have you seen this funny TikTok? And I'm like, no, I'm not on TikTok anymore like you are.
But like for Britt and I like we've limited our TikTok use to like maybe the hour before bed, like to kind of like unwind a little bit. Whereas before, And this probably had a lot to do with the fact that we were stuck at home. It was, the middle of the pandemic last year. But like there
Mhm.
was a certain point where it was like all day. Like we needed just like free, easy, convenient entertainment. And that seemed to be the easiest go-to. So looking at the comments, choking on my own spit. So Leo comments saying, "Oh shit, did any of you experience the thick smoke from the West Coast fires Tuesday?" Yes. I
I I didn't see any of it, I don't think, but
well, you live near the Lake Michigan, so I wonder if maybe the lake breeze like dissipated it, but up here over in Saginaw, like it was like the sky like was really hazy. The sun was like red all day. It was really weird. There were times where I could actually smell smoke too.
really.
Yeah, it was just like very
Wow.
light, but Leo also says, "I miss the old days of Charlie the Unicorn and Muffins era YouTube." Yeah, I
Oh,
literally was just talking about Charlie the Unicorn the other day.
oh wow.
You're a real old timer on YouTube if you remember the Numa Numa song.
Oh yes, Numa Numa. I remember Numa Numa.
I went on this wormhole when that came out and discovered the band that actually, is responsible for that song and got super obsessed with that band.
Aren't they Icelandic?
They are Moldovan, I believe. They're
Okay.
either it's Easter, I believe they're Moldovan. Yeah. But I just remember being like, this band is catchy. Like I'm all for some Euro dance music. Okay.
Heck yeah.
But I do miss those days too. Do, 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 do. RP says, "I wish you could still add friends and private message on YouTube." Oh my gosh, I forgot about the private messaging feature in YouTube.
I remember that too, but it used to be so abused because female YouTubers used to get like hate messages and like all sorts of terrible
Yeah.
messages
I
on
re- I
YouTube.
got some horrible messages through that too, where people were like telling me that I should kill myself. Like it was like when a troll finds a private message, they will go ham with it, unfortunately. Leo also says, "Y'all got to look up the vegan teacher. She's a
I
trip."
know the vegan teacher.
I've heard about the vegan teacher, but I have not.
She is the worst. She is like she has such a like warped sense. She like says things about like about being a vegan, and it's just like I don't even know her like philosophy, but it's like you have to be vegan because um no matter what, and it's like she's like racist in her. It's like you have to be vegan because uh uh animals are better than people, and like and then she like downgrades black people to like animals, and like it's horrible. It's like
What the
I didn't
hell?
it's like I don't even know. It's just like she like will say that like you wouldn't treat an animal like that, so like black people or something like, and it's just like it doesn't make sense what she says. She just like will go on these like weird tangents, and like she'll just say like really like horrible stuff, and like she just is just horrible. Like she's just the worst.
Wow. I'm kind of curious about this person now.
Look her up. She's like, if you want to be angry, just look up Vegan Teacher.
Like as because obviously we were just celebrating the fact that TikTok does create this sense of interconnectedness, which is probably why it really spiked in popularity during the pandemic, especially. But there are definitely some dark corners of TikTok, which we're going to touch on periodically throughout this episode. And it definitely sounds like this person is one of those dark corners of TikTok.
Oh, that's right. She does make references to going to hell and talking to God. She I don't even know, like she's just like so out there. She just will say like the most horrible, just like the worst things you can think of. And she will troll herself. She'll just say like an argument and then just like go against herself. And like it doesn't, her arguments don't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It makes me beg the question of like, I wonder if this person does it just for the shock value because,
It
and
does.
and we've
She
noticed this,
does.
we've noticed this on YouTube too in recent years, right? Like where, like we have people like Logan Paul, for example, or James Charles, or a variety of other YouTubers who really rely on drama or shock value in order to gain likes and views and subscriptions. And the unfortunate truth is that people consume that. People feed into it
It's
very,
true.
very easily.
Nikocado too. He
Yep.
gained weight on purpose to get people to troll him and to like get upset because he was literally like gaining weight on purpose. And I was like, I don't understand why he was doing it, but he was just like doing like mukbangs all the time, and he was just like, I'm gonna gain weight. And so he gained like over 150 pounds just because, and in a weight loss community.
Oh my goodness. That is wow. I literally can't even with humans sometimes. Oh my goodness. But so aside from this particular person, are there any other areas of TikTok that you want to touch on? Areas that are really like important to you, the good and the bad?
What do you mean? Like
Like I know
in
like witch talk and like which like
oh,
is
so
there
witch talk. Let's talk about witch talk for a minute.
yes.
Witch talk is so gatekeepy. They are
Can you explain to everybody what witch talk is first in case they may not be sure?
Witch talk is a community, and it's a loose community of people who post videos about being a witch or like witchy things or like spells work or like crystals or metaphysical stuff or tarot cards or just just a lot of witchy stuff. But they often give advice to new witches, like when we call them baby witches, about what they need to do to be a witch. And so um, but in order to be a witch, they say you have to do certain things. And the community on TikTok is extremely gatekeepy. Like you have to do own expensive things like expensive candles and expensive crystals and expensive everything. Just like you have to pay for and you have to buy all this expensive like $90 tarot cards, and you have to pay for expensive stuff for your altar, and you have to have this like beautiful overly majestic altar to in order to be a viable witch.
So it's basically painted like it's a rite of passage.
Yeah, and
Ooh.
you have to have like these extremely beautiful spell jars in beautiful purchased jars from that you have to buy online, and it's just like metaphysical, like expensive metaphysical witches that are like Dollar Tree witches. There are Dollar Tree witches out there, and you can be a Dollar Tree witch, and like
And there's nothing
you
wrong with that either.
like I buy cards online, but I'll spend like $30 on cards, and like
Mm-hmm.
that's totally viable. Unlike I'll buy like 20. I have cards that I've had since I was 17, and I spent like $15 on those cards. and I've had them for years.
Oh yeah, like most like any decks that I have or any like crystals or gemstones or anything like that were bought cost effectively. Like a lot of them were bought when I was a college student. I did not have enough money to be buying super elaborate things, you know. But like to me it just sounds inherently classist in a way, which is very concerning.
It is, yeah. And so they once bullied a girl on TikTok because she used Elmer's glue to seal her jar of metaphysical stuff, or her spell jar, instead of using expensive wax, like the sealing wax. And
Hmm.
and it was like, what what's the point of using sealing wax instead of Elmer's glue? Like, that she was using what was available to her. Like, what's the difference?
It's an adhesive, it works. Like
Like, nobody's gonna fault her for using what's available. Like, it's not, it's she's doing her own spell. Like, if it works, it works.
mhm.
It's not gonna hurt the spell.
Right, exactly. Leo says they sound like a LARP group I was considering joining. Like, to me, I don't understand how people cannot be more cognizant of the fact that they're gatekeeping. Like, granted, it's easier to gatekeep when people are gatekeeping in numbers because the sheer frequency kind of creates like this false sense of security, like this is the right thing that we're doing by bullying these people or by gatekeeping these people, you
And they're
know.
like, "Oh, I have all the spells you need. Just follow me." And then they're like, "No, you can't. Only a certain number of people need these spells, and I only let certain people into my inner circle to learn these spells." And it's like,
That's so manipulative.
it's so manipulative. And it's like, whatever. I haven't. And then they'll teach, like, there'll be a white person, a white, like, pagan person, and they'll be like, "Let me teach you this voodoo spell, this voodoo death spell." And I'm like, "To hex your enemies." And it's like, first of all,
No.
first of all, you're white, and there's no way that you know a voodoo hex spell. And second of all, uh, no, you don't hex your enemies. You don't do that sort of thing. And then they're teaching, like, Native American fire rituals.
Oh,
I
no.
follow uh, I follow a tarot card reader on YouTube, and she was doing a Native American fire ritual, and I was like, "Oh honey, oh honey." And she's on TikTok too, and she was just like, she got attacked so harshly. Like, the Native American community just, like, rose up as she was doing her fire spell, and they just, like, they got her.
It's a form of cultural appropriation like that. Like it's so wow. Just
It was, and they got her, and she makes all of her spell stuff private now, and it's like, if you're gonna appropriate, I guess you're gonna have to make it private, because
I mean, did this person at least like apologize and hold themselves accountable?
nope, they learned nothing.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I understand that learning experiences like that can be very uncomfortable for people, but it's how you respond to those, to that criticism and those learning experiences that really defines you as a person, I think, right?
They're just like, "I guess I have to make it private because I have all this negativity around me.
Oh,
I'm Native American," and they're like, white as a sheet, and I'm like,
like,
"You're
okay,
like 1/16th Native American or 1/32nd Native American." Like,
right.
okay.
Well, and they have to realize that, like, even in in among Native American cultures, like, there is a such thing as white passing privilege, that is very much present. So that sounds that sounds rough. Oh my
She was
goodness.
wearing one of those like store-bought headdresses too. Like
Like one like a Halloween one.
yeah, like a Halloween one.
Oh my gosh. No. No.
I just watched it unfold and I was just like horrified. I was just like, I can't believe I'm watching this. I can't
I,
believe this is happening right now.
I am at a loss of words with that. Oh my. Oh.
But she is a stripper, so I mean, like, what can you do?
I just the decisions people make when it comes to appropriating, especially, that's just so like, I mean, obviously witch talk definitely sounds like it has its areas of improvement. So moving on to the other area of TikTok that I often frequent, which is gay TikTok. Gay TikTok is largely, I would say, like the majority in my feed, gay men who are doing TikTok videos, ranging from couples doing like answer question videos to banter to fitness gurus to diet gurus, like a whole bunch of different topics focused largely around, like, of course, physical appearance and aesthetics, so on and so forth. And I actually talked about this a couple of videos ago when I did my recent episode of The Mundane Life of a Gay, where I was reflecting a little bit on gay TikTok and the darker aspects of it that I think are a little bit troubling sometimes, especially for people in like the LGBTQ plus community, notably gay men in this instance, who don't see themselves or their bodies or anything like that represented in the people that they see, or even acknowledged by these individuals who are content creators, right? Which, I mean, that's so unbelievably important, Like, without fail, if you are on gay TikTok and you stumble across videos, especially videos that have to do with physical appearance, you will see a lot of like people making comments. You'll see two types of comments. You'll see like thirst trap comments where people are like, "You are so hot," like, "Oh, bear my children," like, kind of comments. And then other comments will be like, "Wow, I wish I looked like this," or "Wow, like, you look so good," like kind of like these self-deprecating comments, where like people are just not satisfied with who they are. And what really bothers me are the people who respond to those people. Like, I will see people like, just like, if somebody is overweight on TikTok and they comment on one of these videos, like, I've seen them get attacked, where they literally, like, these people would be like, "Well, maybe you would get a guy if you looked better, or maybe you would get a guy if you would stop eating so much."
Whoa.
And I'm just like, I look at these comments and I'm like, you realize you're publicly saying this on a social media platform.
Wow. That
And
sounds really aggressive.
it is, oh, it's very aggressive.
That's not my
And
experience with gay TikTok at all.
oh, like, it's funny, like the gay TikTok that focuses on like relationships or dating, like, I don't really see that, but I do see it with the videos that focus on like athleticism or gym strategies, workout strategies, or diet. Like, I always see it on those videos. So I'm like, and to me, like, I've had to make it a point to not go through the comments of those videos because they've been very triggering for me. Because I've had gay men say things like that to me before, like gauging my attractiveness on how fat I was or how thin I was, or my body size or dimensions or so on and so forth, right? And the fact that it's so commonplace in some aspects of the community that it's almost like breathing for some. Like that's so, it's not just shallow, but I think it speaks very loudly to how we, in a way, trample on ourselves. You know, a community that, like, communities that have already seen enough atrocity just kind of becoming self-defeating in certain aspects. So that's my impression of those aspects of gay TikTok. But I will say that there are a lot of aspects of gay TikTok that I absolutely love. I love the interconnectedness. Um, I do, like, I sometimes enjoy watching the couples videos where they like play pranks on each other, or things like that. So
Uh, my my the experience with gay TikTok is like lesbian TikTok and like trans TikTok. And lesbian TikTok is great because there's Hannah Bread Talk, who literally talks about being a lesbian and slaps the bread. And she like
that sounds amazing.
and she just like she basically is a thirst trap while making bread. And she's adorable and wonderful and lovely. And she just bakes bread and basically like pulls you into her sexiness with her wiles. And then there's random videos of like really sexy women who like just want you to watch them. And so the comments are basically just thirst trap video or thirst trap comments. And uh yeah, that's basically it. Just like I I am very gay for you.
It's funny that you mentioned this person. By the way, please send me some links to this person's TikTok because I would love to watch their videos just for the amusement of it all.
Oh,
But
Hannah Bread Talk.
yeah,
Yeah.
I follow this gay gardener. He's like a greenhouse owner, and he all like whenever he's doing like plant videos, he wears like overalls, but nothing on underneath the overalls. So it's definitely it's like a weird juncture between my obsession with gardening TikTok, gay TikTok, and what was the other one I was gonna say? Gardening TikTok, gay TikTok. That's basically it. Like just a weird juncture between the two, and I'm just like, okay.
And then you get people like the trans handyman, who makes like useful videos about like doing home repair while being a trans person and being
Mhm.
amazing and like being totally useful. And then you get the videos of like, this is my first day on T. This is my second day on T. This is 6 months after T. This is a year after T. This is 2 years after T.
That's so
And like,
awesome. Like the progression.
yeah, and it's like you can see like they get a beard and like they get the top surgery and like they are like and they go from like being like slightly feminine to like very masculine.
Hmm. Mm,
So
I
I
love
see
it.
those videos a lot. And right now there's a red blue filter thing that people are joking about. And so you'll see people who are feminine leaning, they will do the blue filter, and then it's all of a sudden they'll have a beard and they're like, gender euphoria for the win.
Uh, I'm pitching it
They're
for the
like, don't blink, don't blink, don't blink.
rogue agent's comment just destroyed me. Oh my god. Thank you for mentioning giant robot Karen. Can we talk about the Victoria's Secret lady? Did you see that? Like the
No, explain it to me.
oh my gosh. So this past week in a Victoria's Secret, I think it was in Connecticut or something, somewhere on the East Coast, a customer, who was a Black woman, was recording another customer who was a white woman, and this other customer was like kind of invading her space. So the Black woman was like, please, like, be mindful of social distancing, so on and so forth. And this white woman, her name is, I can't even remember, I can't remember either of their
We're just
names.
gonna call her Karen.
Yeah. So this Karen um started like having a meltdown and like tried to hit this person as this person was recording them. So this woman was like called her out and held her accountable on her behavior of like trying to attack her. And suddenly this Karen starts like crying and becoming hysterical
Of
and
course, white woman's tears.
yep. And she started pretending that she was gonna pass out. And she like it got to a point where she like pretended to pass out on the floor because she felt
What
like
a
she was being
child.
threatened. It was like, Ari, it is an unsettling 20 minutes to watch. Like, I would definitely recommend watching it because it is right now like the perfect example of the danger of white women's tears, because like that's a concept that we've been hearing a lot about over the past year, especially since um like racism and police brutality, so on and so forth, have been far more frequent in conversation, as they should be. But like it's just like that blew up on TikTok, like this person having this meltdown, this very horribly racist meltdown. So yeah.
Yeah, it that's just like the worst. Like you see people and it's just like, wow, how do they act like that? Like, where does that come from? And it's like, and you're like, I never would be like that. And you're like, but would I? Would that ever come up? Would that ever happen to me? And you're like, no, I never would be like that. And it's like, I have to make strong efforts to never be like that.
Well, like it's just like I've had the same thought process too, and I'm just like I think we're reasonable human beings. Like even
I
if
would
we
never, but I would never like, if someone said, like, back up, you're getting too close to me, I would never throw a fit and try to hit them. Like,
yeah, like I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, like I'd be apologetic. I wouldn't be, throwing a fit over it. Like the video, like there's also a segment toward the end of the video where like mall security comes in and the police are called and they're like very dismissive of the Black woman who was recording and being, essentially attacked by this person. Like they were being like an exact example of the problems that have been taking place. And I like it really made me reflect a lot on technology nowadays too, like the fact that like people can now record to protect themselves, and it's sad and scary that there are people out there who have to worry about such things, because in many ways, like in my own privilege, I've never had to worry about it, you know.
yeah,
And I know a lot of people.
it's good that they have this out there that they can show that this is like happening and that they have like, they have the ability to hold people accountable.
Right.
Um, because it's so necessary to hold people accountable for their actions, like that this shouldn't go like unnoticed, or because it's always been happening, but they didn't have the ability to hold them accountable before.
Right. And of course, when somebody is held accountable, you can definitely gain an understanding of their character based on how they react to that accountability, right?
Right.
And this person clearly, well, made a fool of themselves across the entire interwebs. So, like, I mean, that's like, I guess that's another like interesting aspect of TikTok is like TikTok has been a very good way to disseminate information, disseminate current events. and for people to like make commentary about these things, because on a mass scale we're more able to raise our voices in conversation, be able to participate in the conversation. Because on TikTok, after this event happened, like there were a lot of people like who were doing like reflective commentary on it and, you know, expressing their concerns, so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
yeah. So Ari, what does it mean to be on the wrong side of TikTok?
So I always hear about it. So usually what happens is someone will go viral and all of a sudden they'll end up on the wrong side of TikTok and they have to get back to the right side of TikTok. So the wrong side of TikTok is like a place where there's homophobia, where there's Christian conservatives, where there's Trump supporters, where there's QAnon, where there's straight talk, where it's like basically just a whole long mess, and people have to express their hateful opinions, and
Mm-hmm.
um, it's just kind of like just a lot of hate comments, a lot of like terrible, like usually with like the lesbians, like or trans folks, they'll get a lot of like older men in their comments who will be hitting on them and like wanting to get with them even though they're a lesbian. So it's like I got to get out of this side of TikTok. I got to get back to the right side of TikTok where all the people are that are like me.
Yep, that's happened to me too. Yeah, your video is breaking up just a little bit, Ari.
Um,
Both Ari and I have been having like internet problems tonight. It's never boring for us, technologically speaking. Taylor's here. Hello. Yes, I agree. TikTok is definitely wild. Um, I know for me, like being on the wrong side of TikTok, like um what like there was this one time I was on TikTok and some people will post like TikTok videos where you'll think that it'll be about one specific subject, but like at the very end, it'll like switch to being about something else. And they do it deliberately to kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like just trying to manipulate the algorithm or whatever. But there was this one time, like I was on gay TikTok and suddenly like they were talking about like LGBTQ plus rights, like Supreme Court related things, like a lot of current events. And then suddenly I scrolled and I was on like this TikTok page of this gay person who did not believe in same-sex marriage, did not believe in like,
what?
and I was just like, what what did I just stumble upon? Like what? And then of course me being the inquisitive person that I was like, I need to check out this hot mess express right now and see how far it goes. And then I was of course I ended up regretting it. I was like, Donny, why did you do that?
You're just gonna mess up the algorithm.
Taylor says, I've never been on it, but I've seen ones that are reposted elsewhere. It feels like a good thing to avoid. In some instances, I definitely agree that there are specific areas of TikTok that should definitely be avoided. But
Conspiracy theory TikTok is so wild. They talk about like lizard people and the 5D, and they talk about my favorite conspiracy theory is how the government started a program where they studied transcendental meditation as a way to get into the 5D, and that's why transcendental meditation is as such a well kept secret because it keeps people from experiencing the 5D and becoming enlightened. So that's why you can't learn transcendental meditation. I'm like, No, they just want to make sure that you learn it properly. But I'm like, I'll give you the name of my teacher. You can learn. It's actually pretty accessible. You just have to pay to learn.
Right.
And they want you to learn properly, and they do checking and stuff, and like they just want you to know that you're doing it right.
I like I've stumbled across conspiracy TikTok before too. For example, like there is this conspiracy right now that the media and the government are just creating this elaborate film that we're all being fed. Like everything that happens is a film and that it's not real.
Whoa.
And I'm kind of just like, what the literal shit?
That feeds into uh my delusional thinking, and I
Yeah,
can't. No.
definitely avoid those videos if you ever stumble across them because like these individuals like they will like fabricate source material. Like it's really like I've seen like I actually lost a friend recently because they were like posting stuff like this and I got in a debate with them because I was just like these aren't reliable sources and then but like information is powerful, right? Like when a person stumbles across something like that, like it's easy to get drawn into those conversations and go down those wormholes. Like as much as I do enjoy TikTok, like that's another power that it has and that a lot of social media has.
Not good.
No, not good. And you know what? Damn it. If everything is a film, why did I get such a boring role? Just kidding.
If it's a film, why is this so, like, I mean, like, why did the insurgents not take the capital successfully? Why did, like, I just I feel like there would be like more dynamic stuff happening if this were a film.
Right. Yeah, I agree completely. So, um, when it comes to okay, I got lost on where we are in the notes. Where did I leave off?
Wrong side of TikTok.
Oh, wrong side of TikTok. Okay, so yes, like to summarize that, like being on the wrong side of TikTok essentially, based on the examples that we provided, essentially means that veering into an area of TikTok where it's not like connecting with the things that you've been focusing on TikTok, or it's not focusing with like the majority, or so on and so forth, which happens sometimes, unfortunately. So,
Mhm.
um, an interesting question is TikTok kind of an echo chamber for people, or does it let new information come in sometimes? Do you ever feel challenged in your beliefs or supported by a community? What do you think about that?
I feel like it's more supported by a community that it basically like finds based on your scrolling activity who you are, and like those finger down challenges basically like show like through the algorithm, like it finds like your community, like who it kind of pairs you with people who are like you, and then basically like puts you in like this little group of people, a very specific group of people, and like you're basically like in this little bubble, and like you kind of get into this like little echo chamber of people who are like very like soft and supported, and like you're very cushy in there, and like
Hmm.
you share your little opinions, and like it's very warm and safe, and like you're very cuddly, and no one ever gets out of there, and like wow, it's so beautiful and wonderful. But like if you want actual opinions, and like to be challenged in any way, and like to have a debate about stuff, and to like actually like think about the alternate opinion, you're not going to find it on TikTok.
Hmm. Yep. And yeah, that's a very good point. I don't think of it as an echo chamber either. Because at least on my feed, there seems to be a lot of consensus with the topics discussed, with what's said, so on and so forth. In fact, like there have been certain aspects that I have found challenging with regard to conversations about privilege, for example. Like always I pride myself on being very informed about such things, but there are certain scenarios or situations where a person sharing their story has helped me look at something from a different perspective, and I'm like, wow, I never really considered that. And because I never considered that, that's an extension of my privilege, and how it kind of like allows us to wear these rose tinted glasses, right? Like for those of us who don't have to worry about certain things in our periphery. So, like,
It
I think it's,
definitely informs, but it doesn't
yes,
challenge you.
right. Like, I think it informs, but I think it challenges us to grow through storytelling. Like, I think that's so
Mhm.
important. Like, I think that's what makes it such a good platform, is because, kind of circulating back to what we said before, that personal connection. Like, people are getting on TikTok, recording their experiences verbally. That's significant. Again, very much like how YouTube used to be, because YouTube largely defined what vlogging is, right? And TikTok has kind of capitalized on that and turned it into something new.
Yeah.
So, what other questions should we discuss? We have a few minutes left.
Oh, we're already at the hour.
I know. Time flies when we're having good conversation. So,
Censorship on TikTok. That's something we should talk about.
ooh, yes. Are you like are is there a lot of censorship on TikTok?
So certain words and phrases will get censored and suppressed. A lot of creators who are Black will be suppressed on TikTok. Their views will be suppressed, and their channels will get suppressed, and sometimes they'll get banned for no reason other than they're just considered problematic to TikTok. Like they'll just decide that they are not a good channel and they'll get banned, and they'll
Ooh.
lose their control of their channel um, because they go against community standards. But there's no discernible reason why they did. They just decided to take their channel away um, for basically because they're a Black creator.
Like
Uh,
I wonder if there's some sort of word filter.
there is a word filter.
And YouTube has also been under fire for that before too, because they've
There's also a
demonetized.
facial filter that will make pretty people go to the top of the stack and become more likely to go viral.
Ooh,
So um,
big
that's
yikes.
that's why you'll see people who often look the same move to the top of the stack and be on your For You page. Haven't you noticed they kind of all look the same?
They look the same, or they have like the same aesthetic, or talk about like a very specific thing, have a specific brand of humor, like shock humor. That's
Hmm.
something that I see frequently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that has to do with the TikTok filter. They'll be moving them up the algorithm in a certain way. So they're more likely, if they do certain things, to, yeah, move up.
I mean, as enjoyable as TikTok is, like a lot of other social media outlets, it definitely has work to do.
Yeah. And the reason why they filter, like, you can't say lesbian on TikTok. Did you know you can't say that without getting,
I
uh,
did not know that.
mhm, you'll get muted
See,
and
that like
censored?
astounds me, because like I will scroll through TikTok and there will be some like very like troubling language that's used that, and the word lesbian is not a troubling word,
Mm-hmm.
you know. The word gay can be used
Yeah.
and it's not censored at all. So like to me that's very, they need to definitely do something to fix that, because that's definitely silencing an entire group of people potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Not potentially, it is silencing an entire group of people. So I guess the takeaway, kind of like summarizing all that we've talked about the last hour or so, is that like like it's enjoyable and meaningful to use TikTok because of that interconnectedness, but I think that we all as users of these different applications need to always be vigilant with, you know, um our own use of it and what we see and what we hear and what we decide to share or perpetuate, you know. Bye, Rogue Agent. Thank you for tuning in. So, um, I guess our final thing that we could talk about before we leave would be, what trend on TikTok have you become fixated with?
Oh my God. So there is a sound that they use, and it's called "Here Comes the Boy, Welcome," and it has cats that they show off their cats. I posted my cat, but I love seeing other people's cats on that sound.
I do love that one too. There is, what is the one that I really enjoy? Oh, I love the videos like where people have been stitching with this person, and it says like, "Tell me how you'll know your significant other will always be single or will never be single and why," or something
Hmm.
like that. And then it's usually followed by this person with like an obsession.
Hmm.
Britt's been talking about posting me with my Godzilla stuff, and I'm like, the accuracy would be uncanny. let's let's just be honest. So that's one of the ones that I really think are, they're really funny. But oh well, it's a good way to pass the time.
We need to share more videos of our experiences on TikTok.
Yes, we do. Yeah, like if you use TikTok also, everyone, you should go follow Ari and I. Ari, what's your handle on TikTok?
I think it's with one RE.
Whip one Ari.
I think so.
Oh, what the hell is mine? I should be able to remember mine. Mine is Donny Winter Official. I tried just doing Donny Winter, but apparently that was taken. So yeah, so go follow us on TikTok because we do content on TikTok as well.
Mostly mine's just using filters in a funny way and promoting my book.
I love it. Mine mostly involves cats, but sometimes I stitch. I've been stitching things, like I've been stitching videos lately, or like doing duet or whatever it's called. I sound like such an old millennial, like whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Well, Ari, my friend, do you have any parting words of wisdom for everyone this evening?
Uh, TikTok is old people's Vine. Newa newa.
It's a magical Leopleurodon, Charlie. All right, my friends, thank you for tuning in tonight. We really appreciate you being here. It's good to be back. And of course, subscribe to our channels, click like on the video. If you watch this after the stream and you want to comment, please don't hesitate to comment. We'll see those comments and respond to them. So we love you and have a great rest of your week. Bye.
Bye.